Welcome, Mark. Welcome to Crypto Down. Welcome to Dubai.
Thanks, man.
Definitely. Elon Musk said that it's easier to buy drugs than it's to buy GPUs, and today we have a man who's trying to solve this here.
That's it.
Amazing, man. So, Mark, in your previous life, you've been a civil engineer who's working on like large-scale energy and like infrastructure projects. You were then a co-founder of like multiple projects. One of them was a company building wearables for medical sensors, right? After that, you also were an investment partner in a bunch of funds, and now you're the co-founder of Aethir, which is building a decentralized GPU network, right? You guys were one of the first projects to conduct a successful note sale at a scale of that was never heard before. You raised like around $123 million, right? Before we dive into all of this, who is Mark and what's your story?
Yeah, man. Well, I think you covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just someone who really likes making things, right? When I started my career in that kind of oil and gas infrastructure space, I was very lucky, right? Because I joined this organization. They were building really big, exciting things, but that itself wouldn't have kind of kept me interested for all that long. But what was really cool about this first job was that every maybe 9 months, every almost a year, every year, they would put you in a new position, right? So I originally went and I started and I was doing a lot of the civil engineering, kind of environmental science work. And then after a year there, they're like, okay, now you're going to do the marine version of that. So I was out kind of spending a lot of time on boats. Very quickly after that, they were, maybe have you thought about doing more on the kind of the engineering side? How about we take a look at this marine civil work? And it was just like that. I mean, I spent a year as a lawyer, right, on the contracts team.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed the diversity of role. But to be honest, eventually I really realized that I enjoy the creative freedom that comes with being with building your own thing, right? Sometimes there are just things that as a founder you want to focus on because that's where the value is, and you only really get that when you're building something that's yours. So I started my entrepreneurial journey, but I feel like my life is just a consistent feeling of FOMO, right?
Okay.
It's always like, what am I missing? I feel FOMO in Dubai right now because I'm based in Singapore.
Yeah.
And I get here and it happens to me every time. I just get a huge amount of FOMO because there's so much going on here. But obviously you can't be everywhere. You can't do everything.
But you can move to Dubai.
You can. And this is what happens every time. I'll go back to Singapore.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Singapore. Very, very happy in Singapore. And it'll take me like two weeks minimum to like decompress and remember why Singapore is the right place. I will say I'm there because it's a great place. It's a great place for Aethir. We have a bunch of engineers in China. We have a bunch of engineers in Malaysia. I mean, my co-founder and I, Dan, we founded the company when we were both living in China. So we've got a lot of our kind of infrastructure in the region, so it makes sense for us to be in Singapore. It's great for the time zone. It's very convenient to access those teams if we need. But yeah, it would not take very much for me to be convinced to come to Dubai.
All right, I'll say it like 3 more times and probably you get it. Where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Born in Sydney, in Australia. But actually lived only for six years in Australia before moving overseas. Actually spent 8 years growing up in Bangkok, Thailand.
Yeah.
Did all of my kind of early schooling there. Fell in love with Thailand. I went back there with my wife, who's British Australian as well, to get married.
Yeah.
So Thailand's always been a massive and fantastic kind of part of my life. After Thailand, family moved to Singapore, lived in Singapore for a couple of years as a kid as well, before moving to London. I didn't go at that point in time. I went to boarding school and university, so I was kind of coming back and visiting my parents in London. Before I went to university, I did a gap year. So I took a year off, and went and worked my way around Europe, just in bars and hostels.
Yeah. Backpacking.
Yeah.
Were you trying to find yourself? That's what most of the people say.
I don't think funnily enough, I don't think I was necessarily trying to find myself. I really had no other objective than just exploring. But I definitely came back a slightly different person, that's for sure.
Nice.
It was a moment of growth for me. I was a little bit of maybe a naughty child, right, growing up, and this year backpacking, being highly independent, making new friends in every kind of city or town that you went into. It was very important for my development, kind of looking back. So yeah, I didn't go out there to change or find myself, but I did in the end.
Nice. Is it true that the ticker is ATH because you always want to hit all-time highs?
Yeah, we were very happy when we realized that we could have that as a ticker.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that it hadn't been taken already.
Yeah.